had a video ready to go up this weekend on everything that we ate in Cancun, and I'll publish it next week. It's a two-part series with part 2 showing you everything that we ate in Playa del Carmen and Isla Mujeres. And I still have more deep dive content to bring to you regarding our trip to Mexico back in late March, early April, such as our experience at the Cancun airport, the various types of transportation that we took in Quintana Roo, and an in-depth look at grocery shopping in Mexico. But what I don't have are more vlogs. If you're new here, hi, I'm Nikki. This is Paws Bound, where I talk about my husband and I retiring early and making the move to Mexico with our 5 pets. If you've been following along since I started this channel back in November 2024, then you know that I'm in my early 50s and I'm going through menopause. I even made a video talking about my symptoms. I'll link it. One of which was vertigo. And I'm not talking about just being dizzy. I am talking about full-on spinning episodes that bring me down to the floor. And at the time of making my menopause video, I was having vertigo episodes about once every 2 or 3 weeks. And it's now the middle of May, and the vertigo episodes, they're happening almost daily. They are debilitating and they are impacting my daily life. They're impacting my job. I never know when an episode will strike and how bad it will be. And up until last week, it never happened while driving, until we were headed to the Santa concert. Luckily, my husband was with me. We weren't on a highway and we were pulling up to a red light. The red light gave me enough time to recover, as these episodes usually only last about a few seconds. However, the pain in my head afterwards, it lasts much longer, anywhere from an hour to several hours. A couple of weeks ago, I went to my primary care physician who did a simple test of having me lie back on my back, turn my head left, and then look up at the ceiling, which made me nauseous. I then repeated the test on the other side. The right side of my head is worse than my left. He thought it was allergies and a blockage in my ear, and he prescribed nasal spray, and it didn't work. Last week I had an appointment with an ear, nose, and throat doctor. They wanted to do a hearing test on me, but they ended up cleaning out my ears instead. After years of using Q-tips to clean my ears, I had actually done more damage and had wax that was impacted in my ears. When I asked the ENT doctor how I should be cleaning my ears, he said, "You don't. The ears are self-cleaning and the wax protects your ears. Don't stick anything in your ears." He then started the very unpleasant experience of suctioning out the earwax in both ears with a small vacuum and tools so that he could get to my eardrum to examine it. The entire consultation and procedure probably took about an hour and a half to 2 hours, part of which was me sitting in a chair with baby oil in my ears to loosen up the wax so that it wouldn't be as painful of an extraction. So the good news is that my eardrums and my middle ear are healthy. That still leaves unanswered questions as to why I'm experiencing vertigo. I mentioned that I was recently started on estrogen and progesterone, and we both said that this could all be hormonal and that estrogen should help with the vertigo. However, he was concerned about the pressure that I was feeling in my head. He asked me if I had any ringing in my ears, which could indicate Meniere's disease. I haven't experienced any ringing in my ears, and I don't feel like I have any hearing loss. Next week, I go back for a hearing test, as well as a very unpleasant test to rule out BPPV, where they will move me around in different positions that will make me nauseous, all while looking at my eye movement. And I am not looking forward to doing that, but if it will help get to the root cause, then it's what I have to do. He's also wanting to know about any neurological problems and said that we can do this now or a little later. And that is the part that scares me. So on May 29th, I go in for an MRI of my brain with and without contrast. And I've had an MRI of my head before. About 10 years ago, I was experiencing some headaches, same type of pressure that I'm having now. They didn't see anything then, and I really hope that they don't see anything now. Well, except for my brain, of course. I'm hoping that the head pain I'm experiencing is blood pressure related, which I take medication for. I have also started eliminating things from my diet that cause inflammation in hopes to reduce the frequency of vertigo attacks. Caffeine. Caffeine increases blood pressure and it puts stress on the inner ear and it makes vertigo worse. I was a heavy Diet Coke drinker. I have been drinking that garbage since I was 14 years old. I also like black tea in my morning cup of coffee. I have since shifted to decaffeinated coffee and tea and gave up Diet Coke altogether. The only caffeine I have is a small piece of chocolate once a day. I never realized just how much salt I was ingesting on a daily basis. It's in almost everything from my ham and cheese sandwiches to the Annie Chung's peanut noodles that I'm so fond of, to soy sauce, even the low sodium soy sauce that we've been using for years now. I now read labels to see just how much salt I'm consuming. I've stopped salting the food I make at home and I've switched to no sodium salt substitutes. Sodium worsens vertigo symptoms. It messes with the fluid balance in your inner ear. I mentioned that these vertigo episodes, they're debilitating, they are affecting my life and my work. I've had to take time off of work for doctor's appointments. I've had to lie down during work days for a couple of hours after an attack. Some nights I don't have the energy, I feel too wobbly, I can't manage to look up and focus on my husband to have a conversation with him, and I have to go to bed around 6 or 7 p.m. And then there's the driving, which I'm not doing much of lately. Luckily, we have a Publix and a Walmart nearby where I can pick up groceries or have them delivered. But I don't feel comfortable getting on the road and going any further than a couple of miles. And that's really hard for someone like me who is very independent, and I've always been that way. But I'm also so grateful that I have the love and support from my husband, Don. He's my rock, and I don't know what I'd do without him. Until I have a diagnosis and hopefully treatment, I'm not sure about the type of content and the frequency in which I upload videos. Like I said, I still have more Mexico content to share with you, so I'm not going away, but I need to focus on my health so that Don and I can continue on our retirement journey as we had planned. And as always, thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos and consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It helps the YouTube algorithm push out content to more people who may be suffering from vertigo as well. Hasta luego, my friends.